Breaking news around the San Francisco 49ers and the ongoing situation regarding Brandon Aiyuk and his seeking of a contract extension. Well, it doesn't appear to be getting any better as we have training camp right around the corner. In fact, rookies have reported today for the San Francisco 49ers, but we have other news to talk about. 49ers Brandon Aiyuk, all-pro wide receiver, has officially requested a trade, according to Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network. So obviously, as a lot of people hoped that this thing would get figured out closer to training camp, it seems that Brandon Aiyuk is using the leverage that he has available. And whether this is more of a leverage play or he seriously does not intend on playing for the San Francisco 49ers in the future, this obviously is a sign and an indication that things aren't going well. So now what happens? Because throughout the offseason, we have heard from multiple different teams outside of the 49ers, like the Steelers and the Washington Commanders, that they have shown interest in potentially trading for Brandon Aiyuk. In fact, about a month or so ago, I was told by a source who is familiar with the situation that the Washington Commanders actually, and again, this is potentially, I don't know how real it is, but there was some rumors out there that the Washington Commanders offered Terry McLaurin a second and a fourth for this guy, Brandon Aiyuk. It appeared, at least from what I had heard, that it was either just a rumor and or the 49ers had no interest in trading Brandon Aiyuk. Now we'll remain to see if that is the case, because from everything that I have heard, the 49ers have shown zero interest in wanting to trade Brandon Aiyuk throughout this entire situation. Now, obviously, that was different before the draft. Before the draft, the 49ers were clear and open about receiving calls and taking calls on Brandon Aiyuk. Even the compensation was leaked that the 49ers would need a first plus in order to get a deal done for Brandon Aiyuk. Obviously, a team didn't come to the table with that compensation. Brandon Aiyuk remained. And then the thought and the hope is that after the NFL draft, that the team would come together and get a deal done. But not only as Brandon Aiyuk has explained, but as everyone has seen, the wide receiver market just continued to explode. Guys like Jalen Waddle, other guys like Nico Collins getting paid on top of your Devontae Smiths and your Amon-Ra St. Browns, and it really just messed up the market, I think, from the 49ers perspective. And from Brandon Aiyuk's perspective, his price went up because of that. And there seems to be a situation where they are at odds in regards to that. And no other clear indication that this is the case is that Brandon Aiyuk has officially requested a trade. So obviously we are going to continue to monitor the situation, and I think it remains to be seen. And I think it needs to be said as well that just because he's asked for a trade doesn't mean the 49ers are going to trade him. I do think it's important to note that the 49ers, from their perspective, have all the control in this situation. They have Brandon Aiyuk, who is under or scheduled to play on the 5th-year option. They have the flexibility to use 2 franchise tags beyond that. So the 49ers really don't have to do anything if that's how they truly feel. They could try to force Brandon Aiyuk to play on the 5th-year option, which would have him at about $14.1 million in 2024, which would definitely have him underpaid by all pro standards and what he's been able to produce these past couple years. I mean, you just look at what Brandon Aiyuk did last year. He had 75 receptions, 1,342 receiving yards, and 7 touchdowns. His efficiency numbers were at the top of the league. His yards per catch, I believe, was second in the NFL, and he just got bumped out of first on that last game of the year. That was kind of a wash against the Rams, but he's got back-to-back 2,000 yard receiving seasons, 8 touchdowns in 2022, 7 in 2023. And he is now that again, He has asked for a trade, and when they say officially, this means I don't know the inner workings of what goes on with that. Like if there's a waiver that's submitted, if the agent has to submit some kind of paperwork, or if it's just straight up either a call or an email. My client is officially wanting you to trade him. Doesn't plan on playing for your team this year, so either pay him or trade him, I guess. And honestly, this is what Brandon Aiyuk said early on, I believe, on his podcast with Shannon Sharp. He said, if the money's right, we're good to go, lock in, sign. And if it's not, he did the finger gestures of I'm walking out the door. And apparently, with about a week away, little over a week away until training camp, Brandon Aiyuk has sent a clear message to the San Francisco 49ers that he does not intend to play on that fifth-year option. And if that is going to be the case, he wants to be traded. At least that's what it appears from the outside looking in. So this situation is obviously just getting started. We will have to again figure out what this means in the long run and how this is all going to ultimately play out. But, as my Twitter is still ringing off the hook, it still appears that Brandon Ayuk is unhappy with the current state. So, we'll see. We'll see. Is this a leverage play? Is this something where kind of puts everyone on notice as they get ready for training camp? Does it put a little bit more pressure on the San Francisco 49ers to get something done? Or is this really a situation where Brandon Ayuk does not want to be in red and gold in the future? That remains to be seen. But nonetheless, hang on, ladies and gentlemen. This situation with Brandon Aiyuk is only going to evolve and continue on as, of course, things progress. So, Brandon Aiyuk, again, has requested a trade, according to Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network, and we will have to see what ultimately comes of this. If he's requesting a trade, I can't imagine he's going to be showing up to training camp at all. So, I my early expectations for this situation is Brandon Ayuk will be a training camp holdout until a contract is signed and or he's dealt off the team. So this is again just a situation where it's taken on another leg and it's taken on another form, and we will have to see what the outcome ultimately is. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this? I'm sure the fan reaction is going to be interesting to say the least. But let me know what you guys think about all of this. Make sure to like and subscribe for more of these Brandon Ayuk updates.